All right, listeners, welcome to another episode of Chris Talks. I am Chris Talks, and this episode is about four university students in Idaho who was killed, brutally murdered in their own home. All right, we're going to get right into it. Let's get into that intro. All right, listeners, thank you for tuning in. Thank you so much for tuning in. I want to bring my special guest to the table, Miss Star. Let's give a round of applause to Miss Star.
Thank
Alright, and
you.
Miss Star, she's going to deliver this story to us this evening. This is a crazy, and wild story. And we spoke about this earlier, said this to me earlier, and this was just unbelievable. And I do not know too much about this story, but I know you know way more than I do, and I just think this is a sign that this should be brought to the table. So, Star, this is you. Take it away. Let me know what you got for me.
Okay, so today we're gonna get into the Idaho college murders. I personally want to send out my no background music.
Yeah.
No. I want to send out my prayers and sympathies to the family of Ethan, Madison, Kaylee, and Zanya. I'm sorry if I said her name wrong, but
We apologize for that one.
um, but yes, I do want to get into this story about the three college girls and the one college boy that was murdered. Um, it's actually really bizarre, especially in our time now, especially with technology and forensics and everything like that. It's crazy that this could even remotely happen, but it is happening. It's here. It's on our soil. It is happening in America. So we need to actually talk about it, as upsetting as it is.
All right.
So
So, tell me what you have for us as far as this story is concerned.
from what the news has been telling us, four students went to a bar.
Okay. What link? If we had to look this up, what link would we look? All right. Hold on. 1 minute. 1 minute. We almost forgot to do this. Let's play these bills. Let's play these bills real quick. Hit me up on YouTube and Facebook at Chris Talks. Also hit me up on Instagram at Chris Talks 40. And send your love and show your love at that $ Cash Out Chris Shows. So, Miss Star.
So you can actually find this story almost anywhere you look. You can
Yeah,
find
but
it in the New York Times. You can find it on CNN. You can find it even in People Magazine.
what specific website are you looking up
I
that
look
you
at
found
all
this
of them.
information on?
I look at all of them because each
Oh, so you got a bit of
publication.
information from
Yes,
all right. Go ahead, girl. You was shopping.
each publication gives you a little bit more information
Yeah,
than the next one did.
yeah.
So Fox News can tell you that it happened.
Mhm.
People can tell you what the police told you, what the police said to them, and CNN can give you the whole goddamn story if you really want to look into it.
All
You
right.
just
Well,
gotta research.
this is Star Talks right now. So what does Star have for us?
I think it's bizarre. I think this entire situation is bizarre. And if many of you haven't been watching or following the news, what happened was four college students, three female, one male, were murdered in their off-campus house and stabbed to death. So far from what I have
Were these
researched,
black people, white people,
they were
Hindu,
they were
Asians?
they were white. They were white. Of course, they
So
were white.
they wasn't Asians.
It's Idaho. It's the land of the potatoes.
I'm just saying.
How many black people you find in Iowa?
I'm just saying there has been, some,
All right, let's try.
I mean,
not to
Kanye
make this-
came out with his ish, so we don't know who got it.
Let's,
I don't know who got it. It could have been a Jew. I don't know.
let's try to not to make this
Wow.
episode comical.
I want to hear more Star. So
Ain't nobody asked what you want.
We're actually not trying to make this episode comical. I'm sorry about that.
I am.
But yes, 4 students were murdered in their home. From what the news details tell us, they went to a bar. Their 2 roommates that apparently didn't hear anything came home at 1 in the morning, and they came home at 1:45. So between the time of 1:45 to 3 a.m., they got murdered. And nobody heard anything? Now, the reason
This
why
is
I
suspicious
say
to me.
nobody heard anything is because the gruesomeness of the murders.
Okay, I gotta ask the question.
4 people got stabbed.
Hold on, I gotta ask the question.
Wait. Can I please finish? And the forensic I can't speak.
Coroner.
Coroner. Yes, thank you. He said that they had defensive wounds on their body, which means that they fought back. So, how do 4 people get brutally stabbed in a house and nobody hears anything?
Okay,
it makes no sense.
I'm gonna ask you to stop right there because that's the question that I have. And to all my listeners, everybody who's listening out there, I want you to, send your views, your comments, hit that notification thing. I don't understand. How is it that 4 people got killed? And I mean, you can say they all white. You can say it out loud. You can say it out loud.
Blonde hair.
You can say it out loud. Okay, to all my listeners, these are just our views and our opinions and stuff like that. Like, I don't go against like I said, I don't do the color thing. To me, it's just a human being. But 4 human beings were just, like, brutally killed, to me, massacred in a home. This is like the modern day, this is my opinion, it's like the modern day chainsaw massacre without the chainsaw. But, and I'm not making a joke of that, but they were just brutally murdered and nobody heard anything. Anything.
They don't even have leads.
I'm sorry. It's like a Hollywood movie to me. Because it would only happen with white people. A black person, I'm telling you, a black person would have jumped up the first thing that they heard. And to me, and this is my opinion, my condolences to the family and the friends and everybody who's suffering in this matter.
We actually hope that this podcast actually reaches anybody who knows anything. Please,
come forward, say something,
and help these families.
And help this family. Yeah, help all those families. And I give my props to all the police that's doing their job in this investigation. You know what I mean? I don't know if they doing their job in this investigation, but I give them their props for what they doing. Now, back to my opinion. It's crazy to me how those 4 people were just murdered and those 2 people were there and they didn't hear anything. Now, the question that I have, And I'm going to ask both of y'all this question. Star, Naya, I'm going to ask both of y'all a question. And to all the listeners out there, this is the question I have. And this is what we don't know. Or at least I don't know. Were there drugs or alcohol involved in the part of the two people that were sleeping? Because that's the only thing, and I've expressed this before, that's the only thing or only reason that I could think that you would just be knocked out like that.
Well,
Because somebody had to hear
from
somebody screaming.
from what
One of
Star
them
explained,
had to be screaming,
from
man.
what Star explained and the news clippings that we have heard from, um, I think we can say that the alcohol was involved because they were at a bar. So that was a play in all of this. Alcohol was a play.
Yeah, we need to find out how much.
Yeah, how much alcohol and was there any drugs in
Like,
play also?
yeah, like there could have been some other, or maybe somebody slipped something into. There's so many different ways that you can, like, you could go with this.
I completely understand your point of view, but my whole thing is, if somebody was roofied or if somebody was that high, do you think that they would actually get home 45 minutes before their roommates?
No.
That's a good question.
It's like it was kind of almost planned in a way, because now they're coming out with.
No, but I'm not saying they could have been. But I'm saying, what happened if they was? What happened if they were roofied or given something while they were, like, when they got home? Because it's a possibility that person could have been sitting there waiting, or.
But nobody was in the room. There was no evidence of rape or anything like that. They were all in their rooms.
We have got to do it. This is another follow-up story episode. This is one of those episodes
they were all in their rooms.
we have to do a follow-up.
So the killer had to go from room to room
to room to kill, and
nobody heard it.
That's my question.
That's horrifying to know that the killer was going. Yes, and that's horrifying to know that the killer was walking from room to room.
It wasn't even like he shot them. He stabbed them multiple times.
Now, for the listeners who don't know, who have no idea, statistically, it is shown that people who involve in stabbings and murders that involve stabbings are usually personal, are connected to that person. Intimate. Are connected to that person in some way. For those listeners who don't know, so that's why when you brought that, you had brought that up earlier, Star. That oh, you can't hear me? Okay, but you had brought that up earlier. That stabbing somebody was more like, it was like intimate, because like stabbing is more like knowing of who the person is, and it's more it's more of an emotional thing, than like shooting somebody from a distance. So
right, and then the type of stabbing that this person did for multiple people,
it was overkill.
Yes.
Overkill.
Yeah.
So basically, they were mad.
But the question is why?
Yeah, but
they were close to these people.
But the question is, was they mad or were they jealous?
I don't know.
And that's the question that we don't have no answer to, because we don't know the motive of this killing.
I also want to know if these murders were connected to the other two murders that they found off campus in other states.
Yes, there were 2 murders. I'm not too familiar with it, but I did hear that there were 2 murders. So they're thinking like it's kind of like a serial killer.
Is it a serial killer?
That's what they're thinking, that it's kind of like a serial killer.
Or is it a copycat that was just mad at one of these girls?
That is a very good question for my viewers and for my listeners. That's a very good question. Star, I want you to ask that question one more time.
So, is it a serial killer, or is it somebody who's trying to be a copycat who was just upset with these girls? Because why kill more girls than men, especially when there were other men in the house? According to the cops, they had
This
the
is a good
two
question.
roommates plus other friends in the house.
This is a good question.
That's what kids
And
So,
say.
hold
the
on.
other
Let me
thing
stop. Let
that
me
I
stop you
don't
guys right there. Let me stop
understand-
you guys right there, because for my listeners, I want you to listen to that. What she just said. That is a very good question,
The other
and I
thing,
want you to list your comments and comment and list your views on that question. Because Star, you did have a really really good question. That is a good question about how that how these people went about doing this stuff.
well, also I want to know, like, why did he go past the first floor?
Wait a minute, we don't know if it's a he or she. It could be a woman.
He, she, them, they, her.
Now, my thing is, I think it's
But-
a he. Or
But
he's as more than one.
I
Yeah.
honestly don't think that this was one person, especially
Yeah.
4 people, different rooms.
It
It's
could
insane.
be more than one person.
But my other question is, why nobody on the first floor?
Exactly.
Everybody on the first floor was not touched.
So you just
Yo, this
So
is one
you
of
just
you
sat
just
here
into this
and
house.
just walked in the house and went upstairs.
calmly take yourself to the second floor, pull out a knife, and just like take
I don't
turns
under-
on each room,
It just doesn't make sense.
to
And
me.
I honestly don't
and
think
then walk
that
out without anybody seeing you.
I honestly don't think that whoever did it actually has the body stamina to do it. This is why I said I think that it's 2 people.
Yeah.
Because to murder 4 people,
Yes.
in that way, especially
Mhm.
when some of them fought back,
Mm-hmm.
is insane.
Now, are we sure
How can you fight a
these
whole...
2 downstairs didn't do it?
How do
Well,
we know?
the
But the
police
cleared them.
have cleared the
For now.
Because
yes,
they were
for
sleeping.
now.
I still
For
want to know
them
how
who
you
were sleeping.
sleep through
And
your roommates
this
getting
is
murdered.
this is what I don't understand. How do you sleep through that? Now that's why I have raised the question
Of drugs,
and
yes.
of drugs, and like I asked my
Now,
listeners, I want
you
y'all
said
to
that's
comment
the
on that
I
question.
raised you. My question is, I want to know from autopsy, what were like the first wounds that these
But
people
this is
got?
the thing, we
Like,
don't want.
Well,
This is the thing, we don't have the reports.
They're not releasing
Yeah.
any of that.
They're
They
not
just
releasing the
released-
report.
I want to
the
know that
reports
because
of the
that's
autopsy.
going to explain if the
That
like,
would explain a lot.
were the wounds so bad they couldn't scream when
No.
when they first got stabbed.
We don't know.
Or something like that.
No,
We don't know.
I honestly
Because
don't think
they
that.
did say it was
We don't know.
defensive wounds on like
But
2,
that's what
right?
I'm saying. So they said that there were defensive wounds, which
We
means
don't know.
that there had to be hands,
Some type of struggle.
some type of
And
struggle,
I want
right?
to say something. It was
Which
it
means
was,
that the first stab wasn't a lethal stab.
Right.
Probably
right, that's what I'm
wasn't.
A
saying.
lethal stab would incapacitate you.
Right.
Through
and
the
that's why I
heart,
said
through
they
the
had to
lung.
wake up and yell or something.
So that's what I'm saying. How the hell do 2 people literally right underneath you?
I think it's more than one.
I have
I think
no.
I think it's more than one person as
Yeah.
well.
I have no
because-
idea.
The only reason why is because I don't think that the human body, I'm sorry, I don't care how much in shape you are, the human body does not have the stamina
The capacity, yeah.
to fight more than one person,
One or 2
murder
people.
them that way, and then go murder another 3
person,
people.
yeah.
And not just 1 or 2, it's 3. You're
3.
murdering another 3 people. And one of these people were a couple.
From
so,
you saying that, I think there was one person who sat in like one room while one was being murdered.
It could have
But
been
that's
more
what I'm
than
trying
one
to figure
person.
out.
And they
That's
held
what
the-
I'm trying to
held
figure
the
out
other
about
ones.
the couple. The couple that was together.
I think they were they first?
I don't know if they were first.
There's
They
no
didn't,
order.
They didn't put an order out.
There's like no order. Of
But
my
how it
whole
happened.
thing is-
I
my
can't
whole
get
thing is
over that.
this.
How can you walk past
How do you murder somebody
2 people
while somebody else is sleeping right next to them? That's another crazy thing.
That is
Because
insane.
there was a couple. There was
Oh,
a
wait.
couple that was murdered, and then the two girls.
Then
Wait,
yes.
so the couple
The
was the
couple
guy
was
stabbed
murdered.
also?
Yes.
Yes, the couple was murdered.
The couple was
Oh,
murdered.
okay.
And then there was the two blonde girls.
Yes, the two blonde girls that was murdered. So it's three
So the
girls
whole thing
and one
is-
guy
my
in
whole thing
total who was
is-
murdered.
How do you
And
how do
then
you
it was a
stab
guy
somebody?
and a
Unless
girl.
you're just going back and forth.
But how
But
do you
even
murder somebody
then-
that brutally?
And then you still have energy to kill two other people.
And then two other people. It's just insane
I
to
don't
me.
get that. I don't get that.
From room to room with no foot, no like
No,
There's
footprints,
nothing.
no fingerprints.
No DNA, nothing. He
No,
left
nothing.
He
Nothing.
or she, I'm sorry. If you are a
Nothing.
she, whatever you are, we hate you.
Maybe it was a she, if you think about it.
This
But
situation.
what is the crime
But-
of passion? Because
Yeah.
this is a crime of passion.
Yes, I'm saying. But how does she have the stamina to do all
But that's
that
what I'm
for a
saying. The
female?
body.
These
You
are
go
the
to the
these
gym
are the
and you
unanswered
run.
questions. These are the unanswered questions that we want to
This
know.
one has me like in a loop.
And
Yes,
how does
these are
nobody
the
know anything?
and
Answer
You had to hear
questions.
something.
that's my main.
I
That's the
honestly
main
think that
question
they
I have.
Only
saw-
thing they have is a white car, I believe.
Yeah, they said
that
something about a
they
car today.
have, but they don't have no license plates or nothing.
I honestly think that the roommates and the other people that were in the house saw who it was and they hid, let the person leave, and now they're being quiet because they know that person is crazy.
They probably know the person. All right, ladies and
That's why
gentlemen.
I said I think
Ladies
that they know who it
and
is.
gentlemen.
This is another Kristen Smart.
Yes, we are going to tie this
case.
up. So, what I do want to get is, I want to get your final thoughts on this.
Let's
Before
talk
we
about
tie
it.
this up, I want to get your final thoughts on this. And I want to start with you, Star. I want to get your final thoughts on your thoughts and your opinion on this case since you brought it. What are your final thoughts and opinion on this
I
case?
honestly think that the roommates know more than what they're saying.
Mm-hmm.
And I honestly, and I pray to God that it's not. I think this is going to turn into another Kristen Smart case, or it's going to turn into another like serial killer case, and you guys aren't going to catch him until he does it like 4 more times.
I hope he's not a cannibal like Hannibal.
Well, he didn't eat anybody. He didn't take any body parts.
But what happened if he didn't have no time?
I think he's just a psycho. I think we have like a Son of Sam, like loose with no dog.
That's who I meant to say, Son of Sam, not Hannibal. Sorry, told my listeners, I meant to say Son of Sam, not Hannibal. All right.
No, you said Ted Bundy earlier.
No, I didn't say Ted Bundy.
You
I
said
meant
somebody
to. No,
earlier.
I meant to say son. No, I said the House of a Thousand Corpses. Well, I was speaking on the House of a Thousand Corpses. So.
No, this is.
But my
Yeah.
view on it is.
Yeah, what's your view? What's your final thought on it?
I think the people downstairs had something to do with it. Ain't no way you getting home at 1 o'clock in the morning and you falling asleep, but you ain't hear nobody get murdered, and you done slept through that. Ain't no way.
In the next 45 minutes, though.
Ain't no way. Somebody done pranced their ass up and down your steps, killed 4 people, and left, and you ain't know.
You would have heard something.
Like, even in a
Let her
drunken
give a
state,
final.
even when I'm in a drunk state, I sit there and I know what's going on. So, come on now. Y'all can't blame that on no alcohol. You can't blame it on, y'all can't even blame it on drugs. This is ridiculous.
Let those families put their children to rest in peace. Tell the police what you know, and let's get this over with. Because this case is very, very sad. These kids weren't even like old enough to just experience life.
Yeah.
No, there wasn't.
Let the families have closure. If you have any information, you can post it anonymously on our YouTube. You can message us directly. Any information that you have on the case, please understand that you are okay.
Reach out to any Chris Talks outlet, Facebook, Instagram.
Your local police department.
Yes. Also, yes, please. Anything.
All right.
Let
You
these
guys.
families get their closure and have their rest.
You guys, thank you so much. My final thought on this topic is simply this. Simply this. My condolences to the families. My condolences to the families that this tragedy has happened to. And whoever committed this crime, my advice to you is to come forward.
And you're a piece of shit.
I ain't say that, but just come forward.
It needed to be said.
All right, stop. Come forward. Turn yourself in. Face justice, and
Rot in hell.
I mean, what this was a horrible and terrible crime that was committed. And as I said before, just my condolences to the family and friends of these four innocent, four innocent human beings that just was going out to enjoy.
At the end of the day, all they were trying to do was get their education.
Yes, they were just trying to hang out.
Well, remember, they're not just four victims. Their names were Ethan, Zanya, Madison, Kayla, and... Oh, no, her name was Kaylin. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
Madison is Ethan, Madison, Kaylin, and Zanya.
And from everybody, from all of us here at Chris Talk Studios, we send our condolences to all of the family members. And the person who committed this crime, we hope you rot in hell. And they will catch you. So, with that being said, everybody, thank you for listening and tuning into my show.
We will keep you updated with this case as best as we can.
Boom. Yeah, we're going to hit you with an update. But as usual, you could have been anywhere else in the world. But you are here and you are listening to me. And I appreciate that so much. And I thank you so much. Until next episode, see you guys.
God
Until
bless.
next time. God bless.
Listening to